Everybody, it's Christine, finally up in October with a new layout for the ScrapRoom using the DoubleShot kit. And I'm also working with a sketch that I'm going to be using throughout this month. You guys always seem to enjoy that. So I thought I would dive back into that because I am crazy busy. So it just kind of simplifies things for me. So this month's sketch, I am using one from the ScrapRoom. You can find that group over on Facebook. They highlight all of the club contents and give you inspiration and ideas, as well as just other fun scrapbooking stuff to do. So I'm starting things off using this plaid paper, and I'm going to cut out the inside of it because I love it. I love the colors of this. I'm not always a huge fan of plaid for my scrapbook layouts, but this one is an exception. I just love the colors on it. This is a collection from Photoplay and definitely has a fall theme to it. I'm going to kind of use it for a fall theme, and it is a fall picture, but really I'm going to end up using it more for like to highlight something cool that happened in my teenage boy's life. So I cut out the center, and then I had trimmed down my white cardstock, taken off 1.5 inches all the way around. So I'm going to secure that onto the frame, and then I'll be able to use some more of that plaid in a little bit. Then I'm going to begin to build my base based upon the sketch. The sketch does call for 2 photos. However, I do not have 2 photos of this moment in time, so I'm doing 1. Yes, it calls for 2, but you don't always have 2 pictures. So don't feel badly if you can only use it for 1. I made it work just fine for 1. So I'm using this polka dot, I'm using this dark brown, and building up the background against that pretty white. I'm also going to work a little bit of the orange in, but not too much because it kind of clashes a little with the colors of the picture. So I want it to kind of be just an accent piece more than the whole thing. I did go ahead and trim my picture down from a 4x6 because I just liked the way it fit better on the layout, trimmed down a little bit. I'm going to mat it with white, and then I'm also going to mat it with some of the plaid paper and bring the plaid in that way. So this is a picture of my son and one of his best friends. And a couple of years ago, my son had a seizure, and this is the boy who was with him along with some other friends, but this is the one that he actually knew. He was with him and immediately, called 911, called his parents, took care of business and took care of my boy in what could have been a terrible situation, but because this young man acted quickly, we were very blessed. So you can see how I used the title to go with that. And you can see, although the colors in it aren't exactly perfect match for the collection, they're pretty good. I think it really blends nicely. So on the sticker sheet that comes in the kit, there were the words thankful, grateful, and blessed. Now, typically you see that, you automatically go to a Thanksgiving layout or a fall layout. But because I had this picture from the fall and those words fit so well, I have actually been sitting on this picture for over 2 years, so I was glad to finally have the chance to use it. And I just knew that when I looked at the sticker sheet, the words on there were going to be perfect for telling this big story. I don't sit on a lot of pictures for too long, but this was one of those that I knew I just needed the right collection for it. So I was super glad to have this one from Photoplay and from the DoubleShot kit from the ScrapRoom. So we are going to add on that last word. You can see I'm just trying to line them up all perfectly. I love that they're outlined in white because I think that really makes them pop. Also makes my white base and my white photo matting all come together really nicely. All using that design element repeatedly makes it really cohesive throughout. Now, this is also one of those rare kits, rare anything really, where just a sticker sheet and the patterned paper got it done for me. I didn't have to involve punches or die cuts or anything extra. The stickers, I made it work, and I really didn't think that was going to be the case. But when I started building my clusters and working things in, I found that it was. So one thing I do want to point out is that I did pull up the edges of my patterned papers that are under my photo block. And I just did that to add some dimension because I am working with all stickers and patterned paper. So I've got a lot of flatness going on. By adding that pulled up stuff, it helps just to make things a little more interesting. Now you can see I am playing with some borders, trying to figure out how those fit on. So you can see that I have worked that striped border above and below my title, and then I pulled that apple one back up because I'm going to use it in a little bit. I'm going to build some sticker clusters throughout the layout, pretty much following the sketch, not perfectly, but kind of closely. And you can see I've got the sketch just sitting there right next to my layout, so I have an idea of where I'm going. In this case, if I wanted something to be more popped up, as I do, I would just put my sticker onto some 3D foam adhesive and pop it on there. And that easily fixes the lack of dimension that's going on. The stickers on this one, I love how Photoplay does it, where there's not an overwhelming amount of words or an overwhelming amount of icons. They did a really nice job on this collection of mixing it up so you get some of both, making it very friendly for using on a layout. You know, sometimes you get some that have tons and tons of words, and it's just a pain to use because you don't want words all over your layout. I think that's just overwhelming for the brain. So real quick as a reminder, the DoubleShot kit is from the ScrapRoom, and it's a 2-page kit. So it has 2 brand new collections, features patterned papers, cardstock, and embellishments from it. They also have the Flavors of the Month kit, which I will be working with later this week. That is 4 more pages that you can get, or 4 more collections that you can get, and lots of other add-on options, patterned paper, cardstock, etc. So definitely a fun option if you want to get the newest stuff available. If, you know, we can get it out of the cargo ports. That I'm curious to see how that affects the scrapbooking industry and how much harder it is to get collections for a little while here. Hopefully not too bad, but anyways, you get the newest stuff as far as different companies go and whatever. So she does a great job of curating these kits for us each month. So you can see my different clusters are coming together nicely. Some things are working, some things are not. I'll pull things up that I don't love. You never really know until you kind of just stick things on there or hold things above it and kind of see what will work. This one was a little trickier because it is a teenage boy layout. So I don't want anything overly feminine or girly. I wanted to keep it to fall stuff and as masculine as I could. So like that one heart that I had on there just didn't really fit with the feel of the layout at this point. So my final step that I'm going to add on here is that apple border that I mentioned earlier and was playing with earlier. And what I'm going to do, and I think this is actually my favorite thing about this layout because it just was such a significant step up in the layout. I'm going to cut it apart into little pieces and tuck it underneath my cluster, extending the different clusters in all 3 spots. And you can see already just from the first one that it just takes it from just a plain cluster element to just something bigger. You know how that happens every once in a while. You're doing a layout and you just are able to take it to the next level. You like it, but then something happens and you're like, oh, yes, that was it. So that was it for today. So fun layout, definitely one of my favorites that I've done recently. Always a win when you can get a great teenage boy layout done and a significant, important memory in our family history. So thank you so much for joining me today. I will be back several times this week, in fact, with simple stories and the scrap room. So be sure to keep an eye on my channel. Hit subscribe if you aren't already one, and we will see you again next time.